The climax of the car theft film Gone in 60 Seconds isn't about nicking an expensive Porsche or rare Ferrari. The writers made the ending about a car with far more charisma, a Ford called Eleanor, a 67 Mustang GT500. And this is the modern-day version of Eleanor. And in tribute to the film, I'm going to drive it like I stole it.
The modern-day Mustang has been an amazingly popular car for Ford, and this is the ultimate example. In America, this car will cost you a ridiculously cheap £25,000. But if you want one in Europe, well, you've got to import it yourself. Once the tax man, the VAT man, and all these extra duties have been applied, it's going to set you back around about £40,000.
The upside is that you get lots of lovely power, 500 horsey power to be precise. It's got a supercharged 5.4-litre V8 with cylinder heads from a Ford GT supercar and throttle bodies from a V10 truck engine. And of course, then there's the Le Mans Go Faster stripes. Every little helps. The top speed is limited to 155 miles an hour. Without the limiter, you'd be looking at 180 plus.
So we're doing 40 miles an hour in 6th gear, and we're pulling just over 1,000 revs. So let's see what the engine's like. 2nd gear, there's 60, 80, 100 miles an hour. I have to say, it's got some grunt, this thing. But it's unusual in that it's supercharged, and the feeling you don't get any surges of power. It's just a constant wafting. It's very smooth. I mean, the engine's fantastic. It's amazing. Now, this car reminds me of American food. You know, it's not very sophisticated. It's pile everything up as much as you can on a plastic plate. Want some more? Want some more power? More fruit?
It's a basic old-school approach to making a sports car, and that theme continues inside. The controls look like they've come out of an 80s Fiesta with its use of cheap and nasty materials. A serious lack of imagination from Ford.
But who cares if the inside's crap? Just look at the outside. It's uber cool. It looks great, and what's more, it even comes from a cool place, Flat Rock, Michigan. But then again, we've got some cool places in England. We've got Cowley, Swindon, Dagenham. Read the Ford press pack and their marketing blurb, they would have you believe that this car has remarkable handling. Well, let me tell you, it simply does not. You know, I want this car to be a fire-breathing monster, which it could be if it just had a stiffer diff. You know, to get the car to oversteer, to have any sort of fun with it, you've got to be a bit brutal and throw it into corners. I mean, I'll show you. In we go. Now we've got some oversteer. It's good fun. Let's have some here.
It may look graceful, but the point is you've got to work really hard behind the wheel to get it to do this.
If this car was £25,000 in England, then yes, you'd want to have one, because it looks fantastic. It's got a great engine, OK, it doesn't handle very well, but it's good fun. But at 40 grand, it's got some stiff competition.
For similar money, you could get a Porsche Cayman or a BMW M Coupe, both of which have a lot more handling finesse. But it's worth remembering the Shelby Mustang GT500 is the cheapest way to get a production car with 500 horsepower, even if you do have to import it yourself.
A top-secret Volkswagen test facility deep in the German countryside is home to this. The autonomous Golf GTI. Making a self-driving car is remarkably easy. With ABS, a fly-by-wire throttle, an automatic gearbox and electro-hydraulic power steering, many modern cars have the necessary bits. You just need to add sophisticated GPS connected to a laser scanning eye so the car can see where it's going. It's all powered by a couple of computer chips like the ones in your PC at home. We're here to see if it really is quicker than a human.
So here's the challenge. I'm laying out a course with these cones. I'm going to drive round it myself to set a time, and then we're going to see whether the robot Golf can beat it.
I wanted to make the circuit as challenging as possible, so I laid out plenty of tight bends that allowed no margin for error. Time to set the benchmark.
Woo! Trying with the ESP off. Woo! Reasonable speed. Tricky tight bit coming up here.
I crossed the line in 57 seconds. Right, the car's turn. Now, first of all, it's got to learn the course. And to do that, it does need some human input. I've got to press this start button twice. And, gosh, I feel control has already been taken away from me. But I put it into S. Beep. I press start again, and it should move off and start finding where those cones are. Ooh. It does, straight away. It's quite a unique experience. The laser scanner at the front is sensing where all the cones are and storing all the information in the car's memory. So it's going about 15, 20 kilometers an hour, taking it all in. But the amazing thing is that even though it's never seen this course before, it's never seen the cones, it's actually sort of plotting the course quite quickly. I expected it to be jerking around and lurching all over the place. Now, big turn here. Is it going to cope? Yeah, it does. It's amazingly smooth, actually. In effect, it's recording the lap, and they tell me when it comes to playback, it's going to be a lot quicker. Let's see. With the racing line calculated, it was time to see if the car could beat my lap of 57 seconds by itself.
Now, on this occasion, I should be accompanied by young Gregor, who'll hit the emergency stop button should the car decide to go rogue. But I'll be here in the passenger seat to ensure there's no foul play. Right, Gregor, commence the experiment.
Okay.
And it's all fully in auto mode, is it? Ooh, wow! Like sitting with a rally driver. Quite good, actually. But your hands are not on anything, and your feet aren't on anything. I mean, it's certainly going for it, isn't it? But it really is sort of on the limit stuff. Woo! It's quite harsh on the brakes, isn't it?
Ah, but that's good. Oh,
That's good, is it? It's a better time, I suppose, yeah. Oh! What's it doing there?
He's braking. Oh, that's okay.
The self-driving Golf was developed to be the ultimate test driver. Unlike a human, it never needs feeding and can work day and night. And because it drives consistent laps, you can compare things like tyre life with supreme accuracy.
Like a lesson.
Yes.
What do you think?
A driver lesson.
Yeah, it's like a driving
Something
lesson.
for a driving school, you mean?
Yeah.
But nothing for economic driving.
But it's not perfect just yet. In the car's haste, it clipped a cone and crossed the line in 58 seconds. It may have been hindered by the extra weight of 2 people, but I shall mark this up as a famous victory for the human race over the silicon chip.
When I first saw the new Skoda Roomster, I thought, oh, I might get one of those. It's a family car that's actually quite interesting. I was tempted immediately by the price. The base model, the so-called Roomster 1, is less than 10 grand. Although further investigation revealed it only comes with a 1.2-litre engine, so fully laden, I doubt it can actually move. A Roomster 2, with a more energetic 1.6-litre petrol, is only about 12 grand.
And that is cheap. Aha! I hear you crying from your sofa at me on the telly. It's cheap because it's quite obviously a cut and shut. Clearly, the designer of the front has never met the designer of the back. Well, no, actually, because it's supposed to look like that. For the first time ever, someone's realised that a driver's needs are completely different to his passengers.
The good news continues in the big boot. The 3 rear seats can be folded or removed in endless combinations, and the square-sided design means it's incredibly space efficient.
What's really crucial about a car like the Roomster is its ability to withstand the rigours of family life and living with a bunch of destructive toddlers. Now, I've only got 1 offspring at the moment, but what we're going to do is embark upon an accelerated ageing process in the rigours of laboratory conditions. That's why we're here in Blackpool, the Prague of the North. We've got Rach, Jill and Kath, and we're going to find out whether the Roomster can really cope with the rough stuff. Girls, are you ready?
Yay!
Then let's go.
Clearly, this was going to be one of our more eccentric tests. If anything would be able to push the Roomster's space and durability to the limit, it was a gang of northern lasses out on the lash.
Do you like it when I wobble it about a bit?
Good Lord above. But apart from my state of mind, not one thing broke inside. And by the girls' own admission, the amount of space in the back was impressive. Amazingly, this ringing endorsement hasn't convinced me to buy a Roomster. You can't knock its space and robust build quality, but even full of drunken nurses, the car still seems, a bit too sensible. It needs a groovy interior and a bonkers paint scheme to turn this functional family car into a funky one.
This is the Mitsubishi Evo 9 FQ 360. 360 horsepower. 0 to 60 in 4 seconds. 157 miles an hour. 35,500 pounds. Right now, it's the ultimate Evo.
Now, blistering though the pace might be, it's still not the sort of everyday road car that you might imagine. The radio's got one of these mad little tiny button jobs, which I can never work out what's on or off. The gear lever's got the most ridiculous sort of full stitching, which is already wearing a hole into my palm of my hand. And it's also got a lot of noise. It's got a tiring car to drive much distances at top speed.
But on an empty track with a turbo whistling, you realise what this car is all about. It's an adrenaline pump.
Lay it on me, brother.
evolution of these cars. They do get better and better. The only trouble is they're making them so good now that, although I had a wild bit of oversteer there, once the tyres warm up, it's almost hard to get them back out. All these complicated differentials now do such a good job. In the end, you just have to try a bit of the old Scandinavian flick. Whoa! Well, I think it sort of worked.
We needed something fast to race against the Evo. We came up with this. The pilot is Miles Garland, a former Harrier pilot and weapons instructor who's flown on operations over Afghanistan and Iraq. For 4 years, he was a Red Arrow, and now he flies for the Blades aerobatics team. He'll be quicker in a straight line, but I'll be faster in the bends. But who will win the race? Two laps of a tight and twisty circuit to decide the winner.
He's got up in the skies, banking around. I think we're in trouble already. I need a sunroof so I can see where he is. Oh, there he is.
To take the hairpin bends at speed,
He's shot up in the sky.
former Red Arrow Miles has to gain altitude.
And we're in the lead. Well, we were. We're in total trouble. Oh, now he's doing rolls with smoke. I'll give him smoke in his slipstream fancy pants. I could have a bit of dust in my slipstream. On the little rally course, because this is, after all, a rally-bred machine. He's ahead, but he can't go around the hairpin. So he's going to go up in the sky. He's doing some sort of loopy thing in order to come up. I'm ahead of him now. We've got ahead. Oh, no, we haven't.
With 2 bends to go, it was neck and neck.
Whoa. And he's got quite a lead. Whoa.
He'd won, but this was one loss I didn't mind. Wizard show, Miles.
What's coming up next?
Well, Vicky, Tom Ford's going to be finding out all about a car which costs about as much to buy as a small island in the Pacific.
Do you ever have one of those days when a new Ferrari just won't do? When razzing around in an Aston hasn't got that neck-snapping reaction from passers-by that you really expect? No? Well, me neither. But if you do, then I have found the perfect car. This, the new Bentley Azure. It's the biggest, brashest, most expensive 4-seat luxury convertible currently in production. It's as inconspicuous as fuchsia funeral wear and the length of a small train. It costs £222,000. It has the same amount of wheels as a Fiesta. The steering wheel's in the normal place and on the normal side, and it has lights, as per. So how come this costs as much as my house? This isn't my house, by the way. Well, it does have a 6.75-litre V8 with not one, but 2 turbochargers. That gives it 450 brake horsepower, which means a top end of nearly 170 miles an hour.
But smoking tyres don't really help us find out why the Bentley costs so damn much. Maybe the interior will.
Well, to make an interior, first you need 12 of these. Cows. This one's called Daisy. And that little one is called Headrest. The cows come from Scandinavia, where there are no barbed wire fences to nick the hides, because in a Bentley everything must be perfect. Even tiny little insect bites can be grounds for rejection.
But you're not just paying for those fancy materials, you're also getting some incredibly skilled labour. Take the steering wheel, for instance. Think of it like the car's handshake. Every time you get in it, you touch it, you fondle it, you caress it. And then imagine that this took one guy, one craftsman, 15 hours to stitch all these millimetre perfect little bits all around the steering wheel. It constantly reminds you that you're in something really special.
You'll also need one of these. It takes 2 weeks to get the wood ready for the car. The veneers are hand-cut to a thickness of just 0.6 of a millimetre, then laid out symmetrically so that the pattern on the left matches the pattern on the right. That pattern, by the way, is caused by a fungus that attaches itself to the roots, formed over the course of at least 80 years.
There's something really odd about driving this particular Bentley, in that it gets under your skin a little bit. It feels, I don't know, I think the word I'm looking for is hallowed. Like I should be wearing white gloves, or at least speaking quietly. Or actually, in my case, just giving it back.
Then we come to the roof. It's a piece of engineering Brunel would be proud of, although it's actually made by a German company. At 7.5 foot long, it doubles as a handy sail if the engine breaks. Two carbon fibre crucifixes tie the subframes to each other, meaning that the new Azure is 300% stiffer than the old one. But that means it's just 300% stiffer than a plastic bag filled with water. But surprisingly, chuck it about and it really handles for such a big car. But it isn't clever, nor is it groundbreaking. So again, I ask, how come it costs 222 grand?
One of the reasons I reckon the Azure is so massively expensive is the fact that the people that are buying it are, they're beyond rich. They just don't care how much money it costs. On average, they've got another 8 cars in the garage, and there's already a 12-month waiting list for this very car. So Bentley, I don't know, they could have just charged what they like. People would have still bought it.
We wanted to find out exactly what a typical customer thinks about a car that could easily be classed as vulgar and tasteless.
Hello?
Hello there. Is that Michael Winner?
I'm afraid it is, yes.
I wonder if you'd like to come and have a quick look at something I've got parked outside.
Are you a salesman?
Not as I know.
I'll come along then.
Beautiful, thank you. I've just realised I'm wearing the wrong shoes. Hello, sir.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very well. I'm
Nice
Tom
to
Ford,
see you.
fifth
Tom,
gear.
how are you?
What do you think? The new Bentley Azure?
Bit flash, isn't it? It's not the sort of sedate gentleman's Bentley that it used to be, that mine is.
Oh, have you got one?
I've got a 1975 saloon, which is perfect. Dark blue leather, not this flashy white, you see. Those grills look like they should be in a bathroom. But the wood is revolting, isn't it? The wood is like an IKEA, a kitchen gone wrong.
I quite liked it.
Yeah, well, you've got a funny hat on. And look at the room at the back. You'd be crippled sitting there in about 30 seconds.
Only if you got leggy models in the back. That's not bad. That's your seating position, and that's not...
Well, but I'm not that tall. You had a 6'3" driver. If John Cleese, my friend, was there, the seat would be back another 5 inches. The back seat passenger would be dead. You'd have to get him out with a shoehorn.
I can't believe I'm going to be chauffeur-driven by Michael Winner.
In my car, it's like you're sitting in an armchair. Here, it's like you're sitting in an office chair at an executive meeting of the council in Staines. Now, we're going to go over humps now in the road. I think that's always an
Perfect
interesting test, because I'm used to going up here in my 75 Bentley and over the humps. Yeah, that's quite a soft hump drive, not bad at all. It's a nice car. No one can say it's not a nice car. But the price, it should be nice, really, shouldn't
Exactly.
it?
There's quite a lot you could buy for the price of one of these. What do you think a Bentley says about you if you drive one?
I think they're basically an old man's car that the rock groups have taken up because they are the top of the range, and some people who get a lot of money, and I don't blame them, want to say to everyone, look, I've got a lot of money, and here's proof of it, I bought this car. Well, there we are, we did all right.
What are your initial impressions of that, then?
My initial impressions are I can think of a number of girlfriends I've got who would love this car.
To find out how good the Renault Sport Clio 197 is, we're not going to put it up against a modern-day rival. We're going to put it up against an all-time great, the Renault Clio Williams. A hot hatch Grand Master, launched in 1993 to celebrate Nigel Mansell's Formula One title with the Williams Renault team. But this was no stickers and sunroof special edition. This was a complete re-engineering job, courtesy of the Renault Rally team, built for people who valued driving thrills above all else.
Now, this 12-year-old car may have only 150 horsepower. It's like a quarter of a ton lighter than its modern equivalent. And so it doesn't need so much power. And the handling is sharp, pinpoint. I can understand now why when this car came out, it was such a hit. It turns, look at that turn, one way, other way, no big oversteer. I can feel the rear wheel lifting up in the air. I tell you what, the 197 is going to be hard pushed to beat this for fun.
Today, you can find tidy examples for around £3,000, all, of course, in their trademark blue with gold wheels. They really are a delight, and the ones I've driven have all been well looked after, which means it's like comparing new with new. The 197, though, is at an immediate disadvantage because it's nearly 4 people heavier than the Williams. You may feel a bit safer because it's got 4 end-cap stars, but is it still fun? Oh, yes, without a doubt.
This really is an engine that needs using, it needs encouraging. You've got to get up there in the rev band and let the needle go right round to over 7,500 RPM. Third gear, now there's that change in engine tone. Fourth gear, you're straight back into the power band at 6,000. So a great engine once you've wound it up.
It looks deceptively cute and cuddly, with only a Ferrari-like rear diffuser showing any pretensions to performance, even if, in reality, it actually does precious little. One tip, I'd highly recommend these optional Recaro seats, a very well-spent £500. Which keep you firmly in place when you get to the twisty bits, where the 197 really shines, just like the Williams.
I was a bit worried with this electronically powered steering that felt very light at slow speeds, but now out on a racetrack, the weight is really beginning to feel just right. And turn, feel the back end loosen a bit, catch the slide, and accelerate out of the corner. One more, right, catch it, left, catch it, accelerate. And all that's happening at about 60 miles an hour. And you feel there's an endless amount of grip.
It's been a long time since a small car gave me such a thrill, lap after lap of on-the-limit fun, and all for 16 grand.
The new Mini may have been king of this market sector. I think it's just been
shown a clean pair of heels by the Clio 197. This is the fastest, most powerful diesel van on sale in the UK, the £25,000 Volkswagen Transporter Sportline. It can do 120 miles an hour, and its 2.5-litre turbocharged engine produces over 170 brake horsepower and 295 pounds-foot of torque. That's more than a diesel Range Rover. It's also the coolest commercial in the UK because it's got lowered suspension, 18-inch alloys, spoilers, and teeth. It's mean and moody, and it wants a fight. So we got it this to chew on. The A-Team van, a 1983 GMC G-Series with a 6.2-litre diesel V8. It's almost 20 years since the last show was made, but with its special wheels, quad headlights, spoilers and paint job, it's still the most famous van on the planet. It's ready to take on the best that Europe can offer. It's shootout time for the Black Van boys, me and Le Mans winner Guy Hannibal Smith. The challenge is simple, 1 lap of the Snetterton circuit. I love it when a plan comes together.
I think, Tiff, you're more Murdoch than B.A. Baracus.
The A-Team is ready for action.
Come on. See you, Tiff. Oh, B.A. would be disappointed with that.
Whoa, we got jelly for suspension.
This Sportline's amazing. It's just so quick. It's actually like driving a normal road car. It feels just exactly the same. It's comfortable. It actually handles pretty well for a van as well.
He's gone. Well, I'll just have to catch him up in the corners then. Try a bit of late braking.
This thing just brakes so late over the curves. It just keeps pulling. The engine's so smooth, it just keeps pulling.
Well, here I am doing a magnificent 65 miles an hour, and guys disappear. I've got wind noise howling through. We're up to a magnificent 70. And Guy was about to complete 2 laps before I could even do 1. Turbo modern.
Left him standing.
Shortcut required.
Oh, where's he going? He shortcutted it.
There we go. Little bit of a bounce, baby.
Straight over the grass in true A-Team style. BA will be proud.
What? No!
Yes, go.
Oh, God, I have to cheat again. Another shortcut.
No, he's done it again. Straight over the grass.
For the glory of the A-Team.
I can't believe it. Come on.
Come on.
Oh, come on.
No.
174 horsepower. I need all of your horses right now.
Oh, no.
Yes!
Oh, Baracas.
It's the ultimate Lambo. With a 6.5-litre V12 that has 631 bhp. It gets to 62 in 3.4 seconds and will go on to 211 mph. Understandably, Shaky was made up about it.
Hello? You wouldn't believe me if I told you. I'm doing a TV programme for Fifth Gear, and I'm just sat in a brand new LP 640 Murcielago driving along. How cool is that? Listen, ready?
We had big plans for Shakey's road test. Lambo had invited us to a NATO airbase to race Tornado jets. Wonder why we're not any closer? Because after 3 hours of waiting around, the Italian Air Force reckoned we were too much of a risk, although they didn't seem to mind letting Italian journalists near the planes. The team had to cut their losses and jump in with a guide who clearly didn't have a clue where he was. Eventually, the crew found somewhere to let rip.
I think the fastest thing I've driven in probably the last 4 or 5 months is a 2-litre petrol, 16 valve, I must add, a Suzuki Vitara. It's definitely a little bit faster than the Vitara. You'd buy one just for that, wouldn't you? Just for that noise when you blip the throttle. Listen to that! It's such a strange sensation to drive this car. You can't help but floor the thing. And all of a sudden, this car absolutely takes off. Everything just sort of becomes a blur, but you almost get addicted to that kind of feeling, you know? You just want to floor the thing. So you're driving along nice and slow, and all of a sudden you get this. A feeling that I ride 200-mile-an-hour motorbikes for a living, and driving this and feeling that acceleration is the most aggressive kick up the backside I think you could get from 4 wheels, to be honest. Absolutely incredible.
The 4-wheel drive system sends 70% of the torque to the rear, and a few subtle changes to the bodywork make it more aerodynamic. But for all the amazing statistics, it's the dramatic styling and lime green paint that make this a real supercar pin-up.
Everything about this car says, look, just look at me, will you? Don't forget about how fast I am for 1 minute, you know. Just, you'd buy me just because of how I look and how I sound, let alone how I go and how I perform. But quite an incredible piece of kit, I think. If you've got a spare 200 grand, well, gets my vote.
This is a G-Wiz. It costs about £7,000 and is hailed as the world's best-selling electric car. Owners include such luminaries as Jonathan Ross, Bamber Gascoigne,
and possibly me. I'm genuinely interested in a car that can pay for itself within a year. But first, I want to see if it works, so I'm going to trial it for the day.
The major attraction is an economic one. Because the G-Wiz produces no emissions, there are lots of incentives to encourage its use. So, it's exempt from road tax, the congestion charge, and in central London, you can park it on any meter for free.
What's strange about this car is you're actually never looking through the centre of the windscreen. You're so high up, you're just looking through the top of it, and my head is nearly touching the roof. I mean, I'm 6'2", eyes are blue, so if you're any taller than me, you wouldn't be able to fit in the car. It's very daunting, the fact that I can't hear an engine. There's nothing throbbing away in this bonnet at all. And people keep on crossing the road in front of me because they can't hear it coming. You can see why some owners play CDs of engine noises just to impress passers-by. What is quite cool about this car is I'm looking around and every other car which is stuck in the traffic with me here is burning fuel and thus burning money. I am sitting here for free.
The top speed of around 40 miles an hour sounds like a joke, but in congested central London, you barely do more than 20. However, the slowness is an issue on the open road.
But now I'm actually on a dual carriageway here and the traffic's moving quite fast. You soon realise this car has so little power, it's actually hard to keep up with the traffic. girls. Come on, let's have a look. Daddy's got something to show you.
Next, I wanted to see how practical a G-Whiz was.
What do you think of this, then?
I like that.
You like it?
There's a petrol run there.
It doesn't have petrol, it runs on electricity.
Could I use it for my kids' school run?
This is your zebra car.
It is. Ah.
Dad, why do we have car seats if we're big girls now?
Yeah, the law says you need car seats. I'm sorry about that. OK, let's see if we can get this seat belt put up on you. How do we make these longer? This is not easy. You all right? Yeah. Legs are a bit squashed?
But I won't be all right.
I don't know how you're going to get in.
I want to go in that side.
Daddy will move his seat forward a bit.
I don't want to.
How about that? Is that all right?
Yeah.
That's the only problem. I'm going to have to put the seat back. Is that all right? Is there not enough room for your legs?
No.
Rose, this is important consumer testing.
Rose was unconvinced, so I decided to see if a G-Whiz could carry the most precious cargo of all.
OK, now's the big test to see if I can get the golf clubs in. I've got a big bag, actually. It's a tour bag, but I do like to have that because I have a trolley and I like to take it on that because I've got a bad back. I don't like carrying my club. Do you know what? I'm quite impressed that it's actually made it in. That is really good. That is impressive. The only thing is I've got to play golf within a 40-mile radius of my house. Well, 20, because I've got to get there and get back. So I probably can't go to my own course, but there's plenty of courses around here I could take it to.
The limited range of the car seems to be the biggest restriction, which is why a daily recharge is crucial.
This is the important bit. This is the bit I'm looking forward to. You go into the front compartment, we're about to fill her up. You get out the cable, and then all you have to do is simply plug it in. This will only cost you pence. I say pence. Brilliant. So you get the cable, and then all you do is go and plug her in. Ah. Like all good men, I found myself an extension lead that I had lying around the house. It's a 5-metre one, so all I need to do is plug this in here. No problem there. OK. Fortunately, the car, I managed to get parts outside the house, so now all I need to do is take it into... Ah. Oh. I'm doing a consumer test.
A full recharge costs at most 82p, taking 8 hours and is clearly only viable if you've got off-street parking.
Here it is, the moment we've been waiting for. 6 years since BMW revealed the new Mini, we can reveal the brand spanking new Mini.
Oh. Hi, I think you've sent us the wrong car.
They hadn't. This definitely was the all-new Mini. Every panel is different, but unless you've spotted that the side repeaters are now filled in with chrome, see, you'd think this was the old one. There'll be a Mini one costing £11,600, a Cooper costing 13, and this Cooper S at 16 grand. But BMW have gone to great lengths to make sure that this Mini looks like the previous one, and understandably so. People loved the styling.
Now, if you knew your old Mini, you'll have realised that the headlights and the front wing were all part of one big clamshell arrangement, which was actually very expensive for BMW to build, and also really quite costly if you had to replace something in a front-end prang. The lights themselves now peer out through these holes, and the bonnet itself is actually more conventional, so again, repair costs are likely to be cheaper. This bonnet's had quite a lot to do with dictating the entire shape of the rest of the car. Because it's had to be raised to meet new pedestrian impact safety ratings, they've actually had to raise this entire horizontal all the way down the car. Now, that meant they actually had to chop the windows down because they didn't want the Mini to be any taller. That also means you're left with a lot of metal between the top of the door and the bottom of the car. So to keep the proportions the same, they've had to change the shape of the wheel arch. Every time you look at the new Mini, you just think it's slightly bigger. The old 1.6-litre supercharged engine is gone. It's been replaced by another 1.6, but this time with a turbo. At 175 brake horsepower, it's got ever so slightly more power. It means you've got a quicker 0 to 60 time of 7.1 seconds and a marginally faster top speed of 140 miles an hour, which, to be honest, is pretty much as fast as I'd want to go in a Mini. But more than that, you get a sweeter to rev, nicer responding engine. That old 1.6 with a supercharger might have had plenty of grumbly character, but it didn't feel as sophisticated. This car might have a slight bit of turbo lag, but you also get an overboost feature. So when you really get on the throttle, you get more torque for a short period.
It sounds like this. Cool, huh? What's particularly fun is how well matched the engine is to the 6-speed gearbox. It lets you keep the car fizzing along really nicely.
Really feels like everything's working together. They're a proper team, this engine and gearbox, rather than just colleagues. Inside, you'll notice that everything's had a bit of a tidy-up, but keeping all of those Mini features that we loved from before. What is different is the quality. These stalks here feel much, much more solid, more together, and there's still the toggle switches that we loved, but they just feel like they've got a bit more tactility to them. We've got heated controls here in the shape of the Mini emblem, this huge speedo right in the middle of the dash, and this. We don't have a key anymore, just a slot and a push-button start. Brilliant, huh?
Of course, one of the Mini's real strengths was the go-kart feeling you got through the seat of your pants. So now that it's a bit bigger, has it lost all of that twisty road eagerness?
And the answer is a definite no. The Mini still feels fabulous. It's actually grown up quite a lot.
It doesn't move around you, it moves with you. Perfect.
You know, I've been thinking about this, and even though it looks virtually identical to the old car, this new version of the Mini is completely different. It rides better, it handles better, it's built better, it's more efficient. If I was in the market for a small car, the Mini would still get my money.
When the Gallardo first came out, I didn't like it. The gear ratios were all wrong. It simply didn't feel that fast. And worst of all, the chassis wouldn't let me slide it into spectacular shapes. But this year, Lambo have shortened the gearing, given it more power, altered the suspension, and, by their own admission, made the steering more precise. They've also taken the roof off. Trouble is, without even turning a key, the Gallardo's off to a bad start. At £131,000, it's the same price as a Ferrari F430 Spider. Yet it's a tenth of a second slower to 60, and let's face it, when did you ever hear of a Lamborghini winning a Grand Prix? But then you see the magic mechanism in action. A 20-second symphony of hydraulics, raising the carbon fibre engine cover like some sort of rocket launcher. You catch a glimpse of a beautifully machined hinge, the 520 horsepower 5-litre V10. And you know this isn't a temperamental supercar. It's a hardcore piece of quality engineering, and it looks brilliant. Suddenly, I'm in the mood. There's no fancy starter button inside a Gallardo. Just a good old-fashioned Audi keyring to remind you who now owns the company. No snazzy swinging up doors either to add to the excitement of getting in. But there is a classically outrageous Lamborghini interior and on the steering wheel, the Raging Bull logo to remind you that, of course, Ferruccio Lamborghini was a Taurus.
At all, and a wonderful tactile Alcantara suede grip, slim, essential steering wheel. And if I just drop it back to second and get the revs, that is just V10 heaven. ESPs are so good, you can literally come into a corner, hurl it, and the ESP, the brakes come on, the power goes off. I mean, you can't go full throttle into a corner because the car will just never turn. So I brake a bit, I can turn, I'm going to go full throttle now, full throttle, and nothing happens.
This, of course, is thanks to the influence of Audi. There's no such thing as an intimidating Lamborghini anymore. Happily, though, one Audi influence will soon disappear. Towards the end of the year, the switches that are borrowed from an A8 will be replaced by bespoke Lambo items.
Time to unleash the beast. ESP off. They're definitely not the best part of this car. Snap the second, flip the throttle, glorious tone, right, left. Oh, hear that crescendo rev. Second, you can feel it's heavy. It's not really as poised as a Ferrari. Not only the brakes getting a bit soggy, but the handling seems to be soggy as well. But it is a raging bull. It's a car that needs to be driven. And if you drive it hard, it rewards you. Whoa! With some big arm-crossing slides.
There is, however, one tiny downside to being a convertible. With the roof down, the top speed is 190 miles an hour. But with the roof up, the aerodynamics are better and the top speed improves to 197. Not that anyone's ever likely to find out.
If you're rich enough to have already had the Ferrari experience, then okay, maybe it'd be time to try a Lamborghini. But if you've never had either, you'd have to buy the Ferrari first.
A rare beast is about to become extinct. A snarling, rampant predator. Few have encountered it, but those who have never forget it. And I'm one of the brave ones who actually kept one for a year. I'm talking about the Monaro. It's a car Vauxhall adopted from Australia in an attempt to give UK buyers something they hadn't had in a long time. Cheap V8 muscle. In an age when cars are increasingly full of performance-enhancing electronics, here is one that actually sticks to a really simple formula. There's a huge engine up front that drives through the rear wheels. It's road-warping performance for under 30 grand. Unfortunately, it's never really found a mass audience. It's being phased out to be replaced by a four-door Commodore next year, but it's not going down without a fight. Because this big car just got bigger. As a final flourish, they very kindly stuck a supercharger on it to create the VXR 500. It boasts a 6-litre V8 with very nearly 500 brake horsepower.
Vauxhall reckon it's so scary that they've actually sent me a giant man's nappy. Branded. Nice touch.
We're talking supercar serious numbers. This is a big 1,650 kilogram coupe that should hit 0 to 62 miles an hour in under 5 seconds. It should, in theory, go well past 180 miles an hour. The figures aren't official yet because, I suspect, no one's been brave enough to try. Until now. Oh my God. Thank you.
Now, the thing with a mechanically driven supercharger is that, unlike a turbo, it doesn't have to wait for the exhaust gas to spin the blade to make the forced induction happen. It runs off the engine off a toothed belt, so when you want power, it's instantly there. Watch this, I'm in second gear. If I just put it into first, now where a turbo car, you'd press it, you get a little bit of turbo lag. Watch this. Unfortunately, that also means that when you want power, it's a bit too instantly there.
To make matters worse, there's an exhaust that sounds like someone torturing a lion through stadium speakers. It just eggs you on.
Listen to this. One of the reasons why it feels so fast is it's got this thing called a rip shifter on the gearbox. Now, basically, it's just a sort of shortened gear linkage. It's not a short gearbox, but it takes all the slack out of the gearbox that the standard car's got. That's in gear. And again, watch third to fourth. It's so much faster than standard. Oh my God. Whoa! This car is absolutely off the hook. Oh my God! Whoa! We're going sideways and we've got the traction control full on. The suspension actually deals with bumps better. It turns in a little better from the nose. Still don't feel it, but it turns in better. You can deal with big lumps and bumps better so the car doesn't get knocked offline. Just, I'm sorry, this is...
This car makes other fast cars look sterile. It doesn't rewrite the rule book, it just does a dirty, big burnout on it. The crazy thing is that the VXR 500 is being offered as a special edition for $35,995. That's $1,000 less than the standard VXR, which is a useful saving to put towards the extra fuel you'll use.
You know, for most sane and normal people, I actually think that the VXR 500 might just be a little bit too much of a good thing. Let's face it, it does 75 miles an hour in first gear, which means the other gears are just there to decide how angry the police are going to be with you. Then again, you get all the performance of a BMW M5 at half the price, and that is horsepower value.
Say the name of Suzuki, and my first thought is still motorbike. But the Japanese manufacturer is fast becoming a serious contender on four wheels. Just a couple of years ago, it won the Junior World Rally Championship with its little Ignis. And this year, it's leading the field with its new Swift. Earlier this year, I was mightily impressed by their 100 horsepower, 1.5-litre shopping car. But now, they've added a sport model, and I've got high hopes. Costing £11,500, it's got an extra 25 horsepower and it gets to 60 in just 8.9 seconds. Now, that's quicker than its chief rival, the Citroën C2 VTR, and even than the outgoing Mini Cooper. They make some big claims for this car. This Suzuki Press Gump says it will undoubtedly encourage driving on open and challenging roads simply for the pleasure of it. I think I'll be the judge of that. Here, on a deserted ribbon of tarmac cutting through the Brecon beacons. I know driving a Ferrari or a Porsche on these roads will be enormous fun. But can you have as much fun in a 1.6-litre Suzuki that does 37 miles to the gallon? First impressions? Well, it's got a suspension setup that's firm and yet not crashy, encouraging and not uncomfortable. The steering, however, is a bit one-weighted, slightly on the heavy side when you're parking, but about right once you've got some speed up. But it's the handling we've really come here to test. Dare I say it, I like it more with the ESP on, especially in these conditions. How can that be? Well, the truth is, this ESP is very unobtrusive. It's more like that of a Porsche Cayman. It lets the car move around a little and only actually comes into action when you really get into serious trouble. So the car feels alive beneath me. It feels frisky. So far, so good. And what makes the experience even more pleasurable is the functional and funky interior. There's even a full complement of airbags. It's all very user-friendly and feels solidly put together. Mind you, their attempt to join the keyless ignition club simply leaves you with a clumpy key fob and nowhere to store it. 30 miles an hour in second gear is about 3,000 RPM. Open the throttle and it just takes that little bit of a while for the engine to pick itself up to about 4,000. And then the response is really good. Tap the throttle open now and we've got instant action. Buzzing in second, whoa, yeah, a little bit of understeer there. Third gear, splashy paddles, don't deter it, don't put it offline. Firm brake second, a good flip of the throttle, beat the power. And again, no excessive understeer, the car takes the power. Over a little crest, a little bit of wheel spin, braking hard, now a bit of a tricky problem trying to flip the throttle to rev the engine to max the speed as I drop to second. Good turn in, traction good, a little bit of wheel spin even though the traction control is on just to bring the car alive. Apart from a Volkswagen Passat in front of me. So, yes, given a clear road, the Swift does encourage driving simply for the pleasure of it. But no, it can't match the fun you get from a Ferrari. Well, what do you expect for a tenth of the price? If you shop around, you could pick up a 150 horsepower Ford Fiesta ST for under 12 grand as well. But given that's insurance group 13 compared to the Swift's 9, the Suzuki is surely the best value warm hatch on the market today.
We love Lotus. Their cars are the ultimate toys for a Sunday morning blast. But their latest model is supposed to be comfy enough to go on long journeys. The new Europa S is their Grand Tourer. At £33,000, it's not cheap, nor is it pretty. It looks like a badly repaired kit car. The front lights look like they've been cobbled from 3 different donor cars. And the back, well, it just looks messy.
Now, if you believe the marketing blurb, this new Europa S should be a whole lot easier to get into because they've lowered the sills and they've lifted the roofline a bit. So, let's give it a go. Well, that's much better. But the driving position, well, it's just the same as the Elise. There are some carpets, however. There's some other additions to the trim which make it a little bit more luxurious. Then, of course, we've got these seats, these fantastic GT seats. which are just the same as the Elise. They're too hard, there's not enough sponge or foam in them, they don't give you enough support, they're too much like a racing car. But then again, they have put in a cup holder, or at least their version of one.
Weight-saving measures like that usually mean you get rewarded with electric performance. But here, the 2-litre turbocharged engine gets the Europa to 60 in 5.6 seconds, which is nearly par for the course. And the top speed of 143 miles an hour is slower than rivals from BMW or, say, Audi, although it's quicker than our trekking car. So, we're left with a simple question. Is this really the Lotus you could take on a long journey?
There's no doubting it's great fun to drive with its mid-engine layout. The engine is most certainly been tuned in a way that is better for longer journeys. It's more torquey. It's not as harsh, as thrashy. It's no quieter than the Elise. It's a bit noisy. It hasn't got such a crashing ride, but it's cramped. The interior dimensions, from what I can see, are pretty much identical than they are in the Elise. It's just such a shame because it drives phenomenally well. But I wouldn't want to spend 4 hours in this car. I simply wouldn't want to do that. It's a bit plasticky, there's a few creaks and groans, it's noisy. It's not the GT car that we all want Lotus to produce.
I don't want you to think I'm being down on the Lotus Europa because it's a great bit of kit. And on country roads, there isn't much to beat it for fun. But fun it ain't on the motorway.
It's only going to be limited to 500 examples worldwide per year, so it's still going to be quite a rare beast. It's going to sell, but I don't think they're going to capture the market the way they think they should do. Because at the end of the day, it's 33 grand or snip underneath it. That's Porsche Boxster territory. I know where I'd spend my money.
Jason's brilliant, isn't he? I tell you what,
yes.
that Lotus, something not right about it, is there?
No, the front end looks a bit miserable to me. It looks like it's missing, like, a grille, and those headlight designs...
Bit weird.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Oh, well. This is the Nissan Murano GTC. The only Nissan Murano GTC, I might add, and they're calling it the 4x4 with the agility of a sports car. That's mighty big talk, like saying they've invented a phone that can also tarmac your driveway. Only the BMW X5 comes close to being an SUV that drives like a car, but it's certainly no sports car. However, Nissan's top European engineers, who are based in Bedfordshire, by the way, reckon there's no need for compromise. They've built this one-off to prove the point. To capture the imagination, they've blinged it up. Glossy black paint is set off by unique 20-inch alloys wearing super low-profile tyres. Inside, there's leather bought from Europe's oldest tannery and a hand-blown glass gear stick and an ashtray. It's also the first time I've seen so much leather combined with bronze effect interior furnishings outside my local. But it's the performance improvements I'm interested in. It has got a big old beastload of power. 345 brake horsepower is 100 brake more than the standard Murano, and the front end, the suspension has been retuned to sharpen up the turning. Also, they've put on some mighty big brakes. Check out these bad boys. Now, this is a one-off, so I better be very, very careful with it. You're right. But can it really have the agility of a sports car? Time for a one-lap challenge against my own sports car, the Honda S2000. This one is just a classic sports car. It can change direction so quickly. Left, right, left, right. It's just so light, so agile, centre of gravity is so low. Everything is just so instant. OK, we're starting our lap. I did that in 1 minute 59.31 seconds, so a whisker under 2 minutes. Time for the Murano. Oh! Incredibly, the S2000 and Murano GTC have near identical power-to-weight ratios. But on a track, the inertia of a heavier car is always going to be a disadvantage. In the Honda S2000, where I could just go left, right, left, right, left, right, and everything was just instant. Here, I have to go left, wait a bit, wait for everything to settle, turn right, then give it some gas. I feel so much more remote. I'm really perched on top of a big, squishy, comfy chair. 0 to 60 in 7 seconds and a top speed of 140 sounds impressive, but the thorn in the side is the CVT gearbox. It's just not suited to performance driving and it's noisy. Okay, this is the last corner before the main straight. Better get a good exit. 2 minutes and 2.1, which means that that's under 3 seconds slower than the S2000. Now that is pretty fantastic, particularly here at Cadwell Park. The circuit is 2.1 miles long. It's a pretty long old circuit. So just to be under 3 seconds slower is very impressive. Nissan haven't made the first 4x4 sports car just yet, but the GTC comes pretty close. If you're listening, chaps, put it into production.
You know the story with Subaru and Imprezas? You know, a different version comes along every couple of months. A tweak here, a tweak there. We've made it a bit faster. We've given it some more power. Well, frankly, that gets a bit boring, so we ignore them. However, we couldn't ignore this.
Like a high-tech piece of rock, it has the right names written throughout it. This one means it'll go, this one means it'll stop, and this one means it wasn't made by Subaru.
It's a Litchfield Type 25. Ian Litchfield is a bloke who's been importing Subarus for the past 10 years, and now he's tuning them rather well.
He can put one of these Type 25s on the road for 40 grand. It's based on a version of the Impreza you can only get in Japan. With lighter panels and roof, it's the starting point for the Group N rally car.
Now, let me give you some statistics. It's got 415 brake horsepower, which is about the same amount as a Porsche 911 GT3, except that costs about twice as much. It'll get you to 60 in 3.8 seconds. Now that's as fast as a Ferrari F430, but that costs 3 times as much. I think I'm gonna have a go at that. Right then. 3.8 seconds. 20, 40, 50, 60. Christ, it is quick.
The top speed is quoted as being 175 miles an hour. It is astonishing performance per pound. So how have they made it so quick? Well, every little bit of the 2.5-litre engine has been improved, from a one-off turbocharger to a bespoke exhaust. But here's the key. Everything is designed to look as original as possible. They didn't want a tacky engine bay that looks like it's been designed by a lottery winner.
Now, pretty much all highly tuned turbo cars have lots of lag, and this is very good. So let's give it a true on-road kind of test. Let's get 4th gear, 3,000 revs, and give it some. There's a little bit of lag there, but it's pretty good. Now, not all the go faster bits are in the engine bay. Litchfield have completely redesigned the suspension. Different springs, anti-roll bars, and these trick dampers. These gold knobs at the back can increase or decrease the stiffness of the damper both in bump and rebound. Upshot is you can make the car more reactive or less. Trick stuff.
It's race car technology, but it doesn't mean this is a car just for racing drivers. Your granny could drive it quick.
Now, one of the amazing things about Subaru and about Mitsubishi Evos is they are incredibly easy to drive quickly from A to B. They're very sure-footed, they give you lots of confidence. And if I'm honest, this is even easier again. Litchfield have really changed the dynamics of the way this works. The steering's much more precise. It's got more front grip mid-corner. Because it's got more power, and the way the power's delivered, you can make the car slide, you can make it balance. It still has understeer if you drive it a little bit too smoothly. So I'll show you, turn in, understeer. But if you're a bit more aggressive like this on turn in, then you can make the car more neutral, and that's more fun to drive.
What impresses me most is that this isn't just a boy racer's fantasy. It's not a hardcore stripped-out racer. It's got climate control and electric windows. It's got 4 doors and a boot, for heaven's sake. And if you want, they'll supply it in a dark colour, with a subtle spoiler and more soundproofing for those who want to keep a low profile. The handful of cars that have been sold tend to belong to supercar owners who want something more practical for their garage. The irony is, this is probably the quickest thing they own.
Let's start with some facts. I love the sound of its Super Trick engine. It produces a properly smile-inducing 306 brake horsepower. It does 0 to 60 miles an hour in just 5.5 seconds and hits an electronically limited 155 miles an hour. Inside, there's room for a couple of decent-sized film crew in the back seats, which is good. But other than a slightly more laid-back driving position, it just feels like a normal 3, which is bad. Same dash, same interior bits. Nothing here to make you think, ooh, I'm in a very special sporting car.
The other slight strangeness is one for the trades descriptions people, because unlike the advertising on the back, there isn't actually a 3.5 litre under the bonnet.
Instead, it's got a 3-litre straight-six that BMW does so well. The pair of small turbos help whip up the horsepower like tiny, angry jockeys, giving you the power equivalent of a small V8. BMW have used 2 turbos, each feeding 3 cylinders, rather than one giant turbo dealing with all 6. It means they can be smaller, which means they get up to speed quicker, which means less turbo lag. Simple.
Does it work, though?
Well, yeah. This is a really weird engine. There's very, very little lag at all, and peak torque arrives at about 1,300 RPM and stays with you right until 5,000. That means that initially, it reacts like a big diesel 6 with all that grunty low-down torque, but then when you rev it, it goes all the way to 7,000 RPM with loads of power, and it just feels really strong. Usually, you have to make do with either a cart horse or a racehorse, but here you've got the best of both worlds. It's a racing cart horse. The fact that this is a relatively light engine compared to, say, something like a naturally aspirated V8 with similar power means that it corners with a real light-footed feel. It might be immensely quick, but it never feels like it's going to turn suddenly and punch you really hard in the ego. It basically takes all the really good aspects of the 3 Series and just makes them that 10% sharper. Which makes it very good indeed, but I'm still a little bit deflated about the styling. Because don't forget, for the same money, you could have something mental looking like a Chrysler 300C, and that comes with a 5.7-litre V8 that you can tell your mates about. Now that would make you exciting and interesting. In fact, the BMW styling is so anonymous that when we parked on our local high street, no one, not even the traffic warden, batted an eyelid. I want my 30 grand coupe to turn heads, but in 30 minutes, not one person appeared interested. Bah. So it's a great machine, but is it a great car? Well, consider the options. The Merc CLK 350 is slower and 5 grand more. The TT and Brera look great, but don't drive so well, unlike the Porsche Cayman. But that has half the seats. Which means that spending £33,000 on a 3 Series coupe suddenly makes sense. It's wickedly fast, it handles brilliantly, and it's a well-sorted coupe. It's just that it looks dull. I want a more emotional response from a coupe. Basically, I'm just looking for a bit more of a tickle in the trouser department. This is not some sort of Bond car. It's a brand new sports hatch that hits 60 miles an hour in just over 6 seconds, runs on to nearly 150 and promises a driving experience designed to make you smile. You'd never guess it, but this is a Volvo, the C30. It's kind of a weird mix of small coupe and big hatch, which is taking Volvo into a marketplace that it hasn't visited in a very long time. It's based on a Ford Focus, but aimed at premium rivals like the Audi A3 and BMW 1 Series. And immediately, the C30 feels like it's got game. The base model starts at 15 grand, but is better equipped than the Germans. And it's also got a more interesting design. I mean, just take a quick spin round it. It's completely non-traditional. It's got this rakish profile, a chopped-down rear end, and a glass tailgate. This is fusion cooking, but with cars. In a further effort to tempt younger buyers, the interiors are available in far livelier colours than usual. And they're also tapping into iPod chic with a white colour scheme that comes with brown, yes, brown, body kit. My favourite young person's edition is something often overlooked, though, because the C30 comes with an optional 10-speaker surround sound system from Dyne Audio, and it's really loud. Listen. Crank up the treble. It's also got some really brilliant design in here. I mean, I could almost hang this wicked floating centre console on the wall, it's that cool. And it's also really easy to use, which just proves that functionality doesn't have to be ugly. And how's this for a gadget? Bliss is the blind spot information system. Small cameras detect if anything starts to overtake and illuminate a warning light when something sits in your blind spot. Nice idea, although apparently it doesn't work very well in fog. The model we're driving is a top-spec T5 SE Sport. It costs £23,000 and comes with the engine as used in the Focus ST. That means a 2.5-litre turbocharged 5-cylinder. It also gives us 220 brake horsepower and 236 pound-feet of torque, all trying to clippity-clop their way out through the front 17-inch wheels. It's actually slightly less powerful than the Focus ST and costs £4 grand more. But remember, this is supposed to be for posh young people, not boy racers. And to be honest, it drives really well. OK, so it certainly feels a bit more premium than hot, but it seems to find loads of grip, even in those tight corners. It doesn't feel very Volvo-y, which is a good thing. So we've got a hatch that's more stylish than most hatches, and a coupe that's more practical than most coupes. It's quick and it's competent, dare I say it, even fun. My God, I'm smiling and driving a Volvo quickly. What's going on here? It's worth remembering that the C30 is a strict 4-seater, although the back seats are mounted inboard, so everyone gets a better view. If you don't need the speed, then I suspect the excellent 5-pot diesel with very nearly 180 brake horsepower is the best choice. That'll cost you 22 grand. So the C30 actually turned out to be a real success. No, I don't think it's the best-looking thing in the world, and I actually think it's more of a premium drive than a sporting one, so it's not the one that really gets you pulse racing. But you spend a little time with it, and all its little attributes start to really grow on you. My God, what am I saying? I'll be wearing a cardigan and playing bowls next.
This is the Golf GT. It's got a new type of engine that Volkswagen call TSI, and it uses both a turbocharger and a supercharger. Sounds good, I hear you say. Volkswagen wanted to make the Holy Grail, an engine that had great performance yet was economical.
The easiest way to save fuel is to use a small engine, so they started off with a little 1.4-litre 4-cylinder. First problem, little engines are boring to drive. Solution, add a turbocharger. Second problem, turbochargers suffer lag, so tend to be more effective higher up the rev range. Solution, add a supercharger to help out at lower revs. Result, your 1.4-litre engine now performs like a 2.3-litre one, but with 20% better fuel consumption.
The so-called twin-charger system turns an asthmatic, run-of-the-mill motor into something with almost double the power. Apart from the boost gauge flicking up and down, you've got no idea the twin chargers are in action. It's incredibly smooth and never feels harsh or strained like many small engines. The neat bit is, when the supercharger isn't needed, it disengages, which makes things more efficient and boosts fuel economy. VW claim an average of 38 miles to the gallon. Now, that's not record-breaking, but it's not bad for a hot hatch. 0 to 62 happens in 7.9 seconds, and this has a top speed of 137, which is slower than the Golf GTI, but at £18,000, it's £2,000 cheaper. You still get VW's great build quality, good switchgear, taut handling, and 6-speed gearbox. One thing this GT is brilliant at is telling the world that great things really do come in small packages. Its 1.4-litre engine is not only economical, but it is powerful too. The perfect boy racer's way to saving fuel. Expect to see more turbos and superchargers on engines near you soon. And now you know how they work.
This Lotus Exige is quicker to 60 than a Ferrari F430, but it's had no mechanical modifications. What makes it so quick is the fuel in its tank. It's not petrol or diesel, it's bioethanol. And apparently it can save the planet.
Fine by me.
Bioethanol is made out of farm crops. The sugar and starches from stuff like corn and wheat make a mix that's 15% petrol and 85% bioethanol, and you've got a super high-octane fuel that can basically be grown in a field.
This brings a whole new meaning to the word crop circles. This car feels really explosive. You just tap the throttle and whoosh. This has got electrified performance. I've got the little 1.8-litre supercharged engine in the back. It's now got nearly 270 horsepower, and it gives a sort of performance you'd expect from a supercar. It now gets to 60 in under 4 seconds. With this alcohol fuel in the back, it just comes alive even more.
This isn't an official model. It's more of an extremely fast laboratory to demonstrate what the fuel can do. In fact, it's the fastest bioethanol car in the world, and basically took nothing more complex than a bit of reprogramming of the engine management system.
Also noticeable how the engine really picks up well from low revs. It's a much torquier fuel as well as a more powerful one. So now I can enjoy being a CO2-friendly activist and a complete petrol head. Or should that be alcohol head? An alcohol head without the hangover. Oh, what is the Green Party going to do to stop me having my fun now?
So, what about the saving the planet bit? Well, if you think it's carbon dioxide that's warming the planet up, you'll be glad to hear Lotus claim running this car produces a net result of up to 70% less CO2. Not because there's less coming out of the exhaust, but more because of photosynthesis. While the crops that make the bioethanol are growing, they're breathing in carbon dioxide, offsetting the overall emissions.
Unfortunately, it's not as economical as petrol. Drive this car normally, and you'll only get about 25 miles to the gallon. Drive it like me, and you'll need a fuel stop on every journey, which is where the problems start.
At the moment, finding bioethanol is like panning for gold.
I've got this Lotus from Lotus.
Yeah.
It needs bioethanol fuel. Have you got any bioethanol?
No.
You haven't got bioethanol.
I don't even know what it is.
No, I don't know. It's bioethanol. It's alcohol. No, not diesel. I think it'll blow it apart. Ferrari fuel for the road. I've got a Lotus, so I don't make Ferrari fuel, I need Lotus fuel. And they've never heard of bioethanol in here, let alone got any. I know it's not widespread yet, but there is some stations around here.
I haven't.
Not in Norfolk.
Morrison's definitely do it, don't
Where are they?
They're in Norwich.
How far? I've got almost out of petrol now.
In fact, only a few places sell it, mainly Morrison's supermarkets in Norfolk and Somerset.
At the moment, Harvest Bioethanol E85 is just 2p a litre cheaper than petrol. But as you're going to use more of it, it still isn't financially viable, which is crazy.
Our government is obsessed with CO2, and here's a fuel that will reduce CO2 emissions, yet they're not really encouraging people to buy it. In Scandinavia, there's no tax on bioethanol, so it's about half the price of petrol. And cars are exempt from congestion charges and get free parking. Not surprisingly, it's pretty popular over there.
Here's a fuel that we can grow in this country, which will create more jobs in rural areas and lessen our dependency on other people's ever more expensive oil. Saab and Ford have already set the ball rolling by offering for sale in this country bioethanol cars. Now we hope that this Lotus will capture everybody's imagination and show that you can still hit the red line and be green. I'm not sure why Alphas have never quite been my thing. Perhaps it's their propensity for front-wheel drive. Or perhaps it's because when a clutch went on a new model launch, the man from Alpha got all shirty and blamed me for it. And I'm certainly not going to be swayed by the fact that someone thinks it's cool. No, if I want a small saloon, I'd plump for the well-built, nice-to-drive BMW 3 Series.
So, to give the 159 a fair crack of the whip, the producers thought I'd have to leave my preconceptions behind. To really appreciate this car, they said I had to get into the Italian way of thinking. After all, the car encourages you to be Italian, with foreign words littered around the cabin. In fact, Italian influences are all over the car's design. Even mundane things are made to look beautiful. Look at the 6 hooded headlamps, the animated odometer. A simple warning that the bonnet is open is a stylish 3D rendering of the car. I was beginning to appreciate the elegant details, but to really open my mind, the producers sent me to the most Italian person they know. Gennaro Contaldo's Passione was recently voted Best Italian Restaurant in London. He's a former mentor to Jamie Oliver and has cooked for Madonna. He's also renowned as a cultural don.
Mr. Contaldo, good morning.
Buongiorno, Gennaro per lei.
Gennaro, OK, Tiff. OK,
Che
OK.
piacere.
All right.
Prego, si sieda, guardi.
Yeah, sit down, yeah, fine. Well, Gennaro, my producers have sent me down here to become more Italian. They feel I can't appreciate the Alfa unless I become more Italian. So, I mean, but it's just an Alfa Romeo.
As soon as you sit inside a car, you will become an Italian. That car è la fine del mondo.
È la fine del mondo.
Which means if there is anything goes better than this car, we don't want to know. It means the end of the world. This is the best.
Yeah, but little things like the handbook should be in the glove box, but it's in the boot. I mean, that annoys me.
Let it be in a boot. So what do you need for the books? You don't need a book.
And then the cigarette lighter, that's out, you can't use the cup holder.
You know, chuck the cigarette lighter away.
And I mean, the fuel consumption isn't that good.
You run a beautiful car. So what you want to worry about the fuel consumption? Don't worry about it. That car è la fine del mondo.
È la fine del mondo. È la fine del mondo. Okay.
I can't wait to get inside the car. I'm already thrilling now.
No, I don't want you to drive it. I do the driving.
No.
No.
That car is for me to drive.
No. You're just here to make me feel more Italian, and already my hands are moving up and down, so you must have succeeded.
No, grazie.
Ciao, Gina. Ciao.
Ciao. No, ma dove va via? Quella la macchina. Ma ma Dio mio.
But Gennaro had done the trick, and I started looking at the 159 in a new light.
È la fine del mondo. I'm relaxed. I'm Italian. I don't care about handbooks and cup holders anymore. I'm driving an Alfa Romeo. This is the £28,000, 260 horsepower Q4 model with its 4-wheel drive system. which all sounds very impressive if it wasn't for the fact that it's 300 kilograms heavier than a BMW 325, which is just as fast with only 218 horsepower. But even that doesn't faze me. The power delivery of the V6 is creamily smooth. There's a nice ride, there's good body control. I don't even care if the steering and brakes aren't the sharpest.
Unlike Italian cars of old, this one doesn't feel flaky. They've used thicker glass to make it quieter inside, and the build quality feels pretty solid. It's got 5 end cap stars, and there are 7 airbags, including one for your knees.
I'm so nearly converted, and I'd be there if it wasn't for just one thing. Every time I change gear, the Italian dream disappears. Not only is the lever an uncomfortable thing, the change itself is a nasty, notchy affair. Oh, Alpha, what have you done? I'm afraid it's back to the Beamer for me.
This is the Land Rover Freelander 2. It's literally supposed to be bigger and better than the original. Well, I can test the former fairly easily.
Gordon, come here, mate. Hold that.
It's 50 millimetres longer, 109 millimetres wider, and 32 millimetres taller than its predecessor.
And the benefit of all that extra size can really be felt in here because it feels so much more... It's just a lot more spacious. And you really notice it in the back. I mean, I've got loads more space, though if it was up to me, I'd have a slightly lower rear footwell so my knees weren't quite so high. Apparently, the real reason they made it so much bigger was so that more Americans could fit in it comfortably. Mind you, if this is what the Americans are demanding, well, good on them, because it's so much better than before. We've actually ended up in baby Range Rover territory here rather than a grown-up tractor. This looks like a Rangie that got boiled down.
So we've proved it's bigger, but is it better? Well, to find out, I shall be driving this car on the most challenging test route we could find, the ultimate school run. This is Britain's most remote school. It's located in Forest in Teesdale, has just 15 pupils, and is surrounded by, absolutely nothing. It seems to me the parents who deliver their kids here have every right to be driving an SUV. So let's see if the new Freelander is up to the job.
I've got a special test house that I'll be living in, and also a very special test child. Come on, Timmy, get in. Come on, young man, time to get to school. Blue neck, Timmy. You could have got up a bit earlier. Timmy, stop playing with the windows.
There are 2 engines on offer, a 4-cylinder 2.2-litre diesel with 158 horsepower and a straight-six 3.2-litre petrol.
Now, we've got this new 6-cylinder engine in here, and it actually gives you 30% more power than the outgoing V6. It also gives you 10% better fuel economy. Mind you, it only takes it up to about 25.2 miles per gallon, so it's still not great.
This car will do 124 miles an hour and hit 60 in a leisurely 8.4 seconds, but it never feels quite that slow, and the ride and handling are pretty darn good.
It's weird, the Freelander just suddenly feels transformed. It doesn't feel as dog rough as it used to. My only slight complaint is that the steering's still a little bit too light, but it's nothing that would put you off. In fact, I'd say this was a whole lot better compromise than something like a BMW X3, which is just far too stiff.
Land Rover marketing people like to think at every junction their drivers could take the muddy route. It was time to try the shortcut.
You know, Timmy, I've always enjoyed the mountains.
The Freelander is kitted out with the same terrain response system as its more serious off-roading big brothers, except it has no diff locks. The Freelander system is a more idiot-proof 4x4 function. You just choose from 4 settings to match the terrain, and away you go. Simple.
What the heck is that woody thing? Actually, some of the other bits in here don't quite feel expensive enough. Actually a little bit cheapy. Some of the switchgear doesn't stack up when we're used to the Range Rover. And as for this key, that, my dears, is frankly
horrible.
But all in all, and compared to the old version, this is a whole new world of wonderful for the baby Land Rover.
I think we have reached the limit of our tyres. No, it's stuck.
You might be late for school, mate.
Luckily, an experienced off-road expert was passing to offer us assistance.
Keep going backwards, all the way back till you're on good grip.
Safely out of the mud, we arrived just before first bell.
See, Timmy? I told you we'd make it on time. Have a nice day at school. So, in summary, the new Freelander, it's better in absolutely every single way. But they do make you pay for it. Prices start at just under 21 grand and go all the way to 33, which, let's face it, is discovery territory, which leaves just one conclusion. It's a great car. Shame about the stiff price tag.
Now, here on Fifth Gear, we try hard to think of inventive ways to test cars. And when Citroën launched the new Picasso, well, inspiration was staring us in the face. So here's Johnny and some art.
The Zara Picasso has been a huge, and I mean huge, success for the company.
And because you can get a brand new one sitting on your drive for just under 10 grand, it'll continue to be a success. So unsurprisingly, Citroën are going to continue making it.
However, find an extra 5 grand and you could own their all-new version. Stop, stop, stop. Hang on a minute. Let's just sort this. Brand new Citroën Picasso, £10,000. Brand new Citroën Picasso, £15,000. Let's take a look.
This is the new C4 Picasso. And we were so keen to drive it, we got an early left hooker posted over from France to port over.
Well, you've got to come and look at this. I mean, check this out. Look, now you think that these are just parking sensors. They're actually a lot more than that. They actually double as noses. This actually senses the air quality ahead of you, so they can smell carbon monoxide, and they'll adjust the air conditioning in the cabin accordingly. Look at this. Beautiful cabin, huge amount of glass house area, goes all the way back up behind the driver's head. And come on here. Huge LEDs. They look like those old bar fires that old people have. Fantastic. Anyway, best bit's inside. The Picasso's actually got more interior space for passengers and luggage than any other MPV in its sector. And on the higher spec models like this, it's also got pneumatic self-leveling suspension on the back. You can drop it and raise it for any heavy equipment you might want to put in. Obviously, being an MPV, you've got the 2 obligatory seats in the back here. But don't worry, you do not need an IKEA furniture erection degree. All you need is one good finger. Let me demonstrate. Lovely. And Citroën claim this is the only compact MPV that you can walk from back to front in. Well, sort of. Take a look at this space-age dashboard. Citroën have put all the controls for the stuff like the heating to the side, which leaves a lot more space in the centre here. There's also no gear stick down below. It's all up on a column up by the steering wheel, and instead you've got stuff like a little refrigeration unit.
And lots of cubby holes. In fact, you could say it's a real work of art. But as it's a Picasso, can it actually make art? Meet Mark Spate, presenter of the children's art show Smart. He's going to help us draw a tribute to one of Pablo Picasso's famous etchings of his pet, Sausage Dog. Honestly.
I'm going to overshoot slightly because we've got a special apparatus.
Indeed, indeed.
Now, if we're on the stomach...
We are on the stomach.
Of a sausage dog.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's probably a bit of a lap dog, so I'm going to just give it a slight kink in the belly.
Well, this actually didn't really have a kink. Hard round.
This is like rallying, but really slow.
I'll tell you what, let me go and straighten the brake out. Hang on a second.
All right.
Where are you going? Wait!
Am I all right to back up with this thing?
No.
No, I'm not. This is its back leg.
It's back leg, yeah.
Back leg. We're on its bum hole, aren't we?
Yeah.
No, that's the Dog Council.
That is Dog Council saying, what the hell is going on?
Western Supermare Council. No, you're not allowed dogs on the beach. I'm not sure you've measured this out right.
I have measured this out
no offence.
correctly. No.
No
It's just you're not driving it right.
I've got it in my head, that's the trouble.
It's going to look like a dead lizard. Are you lost? I'm lost. And it's all your fault, man of pens.
No, it's the driver, honestly.
Stick to your crayons. Stick to your crayons. Oh dear,
This is the maddest thing.
What utter confusion. Right, straight towards here.
Straight towards here, and then we're done, really, more or less. That's it, one sausage dog complete.
Yeah, okay.
There you go. So what do we do now?
I'm finished.
What do you mean I'm finished? It's finished.
I'm going to draw the lead. This is a lead. All dogs should have leads, and especially if a dog's allowed on a beach, it should definitely have a lead.
So the Picasso's good on sand, but what about tarmac?
This is the top-of-the-range exclusive model, which we expect is going to come in and around £20,000. This particular example's got a 2-litre petrol, 143 brake engine, but let's face it, no one in England is actually going to buy it. They're going to go straight for the turbo diesel version. But that said, it feels very good on the road, in town and on the motorway. I like it, and I'm a bit worried. I'm not a family man. But if you don't like the notion of driving around in a huge goldfish bowl, Citroën have the solution. The blinds are connected to the sun binders. Talking of light, this car has got one hell of a party trick. You've got to wait until the sun goes down before I can show you that. There are 32 different light sources on this car. Allow me to show you. Here's number one. There's a lovely little halo beneath the door mirror. And coming around to the back. Right, this just looks like a standard rear courtesy light. Not so. It actually doubles as a torch. Check out the dashboard. We've got these lovely different colour-changing tones here. Got these mood lights under here that are concealed away. Got these lovely little lights down here as well. If you put your hands down, they automatically turn on. So if your mum drops her chewing tobacco, she can just pick it up instantly. And then you've got these lovely mood lights down below here. Very saucy.
Yeah, whatever, Johnny.
As you can tell, I'm really taken by the C4 Picasso. It's full of features that makes it an ideal car for young families. And most importantly, it can draw dogs.
The Brooklands Circuit in Weybridge, Surrey, was Britain's first motor racing track. It was opened in 1907, and on that first day, the feature event was won by Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes have obviously had a soft spot for the place ever since then, because they've spent the last 2.5 years building on a 155-acre site inside the circuit. Mercedes have 4 similar centres around the world, but this is the biggest. With 100 cars over 3 levels, there's every model and every colour on display. If you want to test the cars, then there's a variety of circuits on site, with several driving packages available. But unfortunately, they all come at a price. For example, an hour's tuition on the 10-acre off-road site costs £100, while a 15-minute passenger ride on the test track is 25 quid. It's not cheap, but it does let you experience the car of your choice without worrying about speed cameras. And the car I'd like to test is an ML63 AMG. This £74,000 top-of-the-range ML has a super high-tech 6.3-litre V8. Each engine is hand-built by the AMG division and signed by the man who made it. They produce 510 horsepower, which Mercedes claim makes it the most powerfully naturally aspirated production V8 in the world. If you do get to drive on this track, you'll probably have a Mercedes-Benz instructor with you, sort of keeping your pace down a bit, but I've been allowed loose. But even though I'm on my own, you can't go that quick, because this is a very tight, twisty circuit. But amazingly, I can still shovel this big car up to nearly 90 miles an hour. I'm very impressed, though, with the directness of the steering. There's very little lock needed, and yet it's not too heavy. Look, I can just cross my arms over, even for the tightest of hairpins. I don't need to shuffle the steering. It really feels like a sports car.
It does come with an off-road mode, but Mercedes told us not to bother, because this AMG version really isn't an off-roader. There's also a suspension mode for comfort and sport, which stiffens the ride and reduces that roly-poly effect.
This ML is like Porsche Cayenne Turbo S mode. It hasn't quite got the same power that Porsche's got, what, 521, but this actually gets to 62 quicker in an amazing 5.0 seconds, and it weighs 2.5 tons. This is an amazing tool. The only trouble is you're gonna struggle to average 17 miles to the gallon. In fact, when you fill up the 95-litre tank, you're going to get a bill for like £90. Now, there is one other thing they have here at Mercedes-Benz World, and that's a roundabout with a slippery surface. Time to go and play, I think. I thought I'd fire it into the foyer. It's a bit embarrassing to deliver their ML63 straight through their brand new glass frontage. Oh, just under steering wheel. It's not that slippy. Oh. I thought we were off into the barriers then.
Unfortunately, no one had warned me that there was a slippy lane in the middle with a much grippier surface on either side. So I was forever slipping,
bloody hell.
gripping,
opposite nerve.
and slipping again.
Hellfire. I was just waiting for the clang then. Oh my God. Let's try again. Oh, now the seatbelt tension has attacked me. This isn't working. The seatbelt tension has gone off now. I'm being strangled. I'm going to go and get a Mercedes-Benz test driver for this. Look, I've nearly crashed twice now. It's not consistent.
On top of that, the ESP kept interfering when I didn't want it to. Even when switched off, it will still intervene if everything goes completely wrong. But after the engineers typed in a secret code, which we couldn't show, the car was completely at my mercy. The Mercedes-Benz ML63 AMG, the best off-roader on the road.
The UK actually buys more convertibles than any other European country per capita. Weird, huh? The one place with the most depressed climate is the one that lives in hope that one day you'll be able to fling back that roof and make like you're on the Riviera, when actually, you're in Reading. And it's drizzling.
Which is why Mazda thought they'd give us a best of both worlds scenario. They've swapped the ragtop for a folding hardtop on their iconic MX-5 and given us the Roadster Coupe.
Coupe convertibles. See, these days, a convertible really isn't the done thing unless you can fan a wodge of metal above your head, because no matter how good a fabric hood is, it doesn't provide that kind of psychological sense of security that a metal one provides.
But I'm not convinced. See, the reason why I'm not too sure about this whole coupe roof business is because that wonderful flop back and basque fabric hood that they used to have before is just so perfect. You could work it with one hand, it wasn't likely to break, and it just suited the keep it simple, stupid philosophy of the MX-5. I mean, even in this latest generation, you've still got a 2-litre 4-pot motor driving the rear wheels through a manual box. It's a wonderfully unfussy take on what a decent drive should be, and the roof was part of that ideal. So, to find out if it's worth the extra £1,750, we've devised 3 tests to see what's best, hard or soft.
First of all, I'm going to drive it with the roof up and see if it's any quieter than the standard car.
Now here I have a decibel meter. I'm going to run it for 10 seconds. OK, an average of 72.1 decibels. Now it's time to try the good old hardtop and see if it's any quieter.
And there you have it, 70.8 decibels. So that's marginally quieter.
Now, our decibel expert reckons at those levels, only half the population could detect the hardtop was quieter. So it doesn't look like it's worth the extra money so far. Here's test 2.
Now, I'm going to compare the two on our really very high-tech slalom course. Ooh.
Good turn-in, just nice and smoothly through, and it just feels exactly how an MX-5 should. It's great.
So, how will the hardtop compare? Does the extra weight ruin the handling?
Not really much different. It actually feels slightly softer, but that's because Mazda have actually softened off the springs so that it cope with the extra weight. It doesn't feel like much of a compromise. I'm calling that a draw.
Finally, we're going to subject them both to a high-pressure water test from the pipes of this here fire engine. Now, we know these things are powerful, but we've got to test it first. On me.
Let's go check for leaks. It's fine, but it's noisy. The roof's bobbling up and down with the water. It's definitely not leaking, but it's just like being in a tent in a rainstorm. Here we are in the Roadster Coupe. You can still hear the rain on the windscreen, but it's not drumming on the roof. It's a definite psychological feeling of security. It doesn't feel like you're so vulnerable to the elements, so it just feels like any other tin top, albeit in a tropical storm.
Now that's a surprise. To be honest, this morning, I couldn't see the point in the Roadster Coupe. I thought it was an unnecessary extravagance brought on by a fashion thing, but it's not. It genuinely works to make it feel more solid and more usable. But more than that, it just makes this car feel more cosy.
So, for your extra cash, you do get a more usable package. That means us Brits can keep buying them, safe in the knowledge that when our 20 minutes of sun comes, we'll be ready.
£79,540. 0 to 62 miles an hour in 4.3 seconds. 193 miles an hour. This GT3 is the 911 for people who love driving. No, wait, no. Who love driving.
In simple terms, it's a rear-wheel drive 911 with big power and little weight. But the devil is in the detail. The oily bits in the engine have been lightened so it revs more freely. The rear spoiler can be adjusted, and this little lip gives you more downforce without increasing drag. At the front, vents send cooling air to the brakes, while this lets hot air escape from the radiator. And if you're handy with a spanner, then the suspension is fully adjustable.
Then we come to the tyres, specially designed with minimal tread so they act like grippy racing slicks in the dry. In the wet, there's a small disclaimer from Porsche that says that they're more likely to aquaplane. Not nice.
Normally, you turn a blind eye to a small blip like that because Porsche's GT badge is given to cars that will spend most of their lives on the track. But this GT3 is different. It's been primarily designed for the road. And indeed, this is a surprisingly comfortable car. Putting the suspension into normal mode doesn't make the ride completely smooth, but it's perfectly easy to live with. Inside, it's quiet enough to hold a conversation, and even though the 3.6-litre engine is highly tuned, you'd have no problem taking it shopping.
This feels like a normal car, but it isn't.
We're at Cadwell Park, as 74% of owners will apparently go on a track day. So, how does it fare?
Let's find out.
It really does feel as much like a racing car as I could ever really imagine. Now, because there's no weight in the front end of this car, you do suffer a bit from understeer. So when you turn in, it it just washes out on the front, and you have to wait and sort of bide your time until the traction comes back again at the front end, and then you can unleash all that 415 bhp, third gear, fourth gear. It's just never ending. This car has got really super beefy brakes. They're the 5,800 pound ceramic option, and they really, really do the business. They encourage me to go faster into the corner because I know I can really leave my braking late and they'll still be very powerful. The noise is just utterly addictive. Going through a very naughty exhaust. Porsche say this is the perfect car that bridges the gap from road to track, and they're not wrong.
It's the first GT3 to come with traction control. And with optional extras like sat-nav and heated leather seats, it's as well suited to cruising as it is to leaping.
This is the new Audi TT Coupe 3.2 Quattro. Just as handsome as its predecessor, but now promising a much more rewarding drive.
And this is the car it has to beat, the BMW Z4 3-litre SI SE Coupe, designed as an extracurricular project by BMW engineers.
With its S-tronic gearbox and magnetic ride, the Audi costs £31,800.
And the standard Z4 costs £31,400.
The Audi is four-wheel drive, the BMW rear-wheel drive.
The BMW has 265 brake horsepower and the Audi has 250.
Both can do 155 miles an hour and both claim to get to 62 in 5.7 seconds.
So which is best?
There's only one way to find out.
Test 1, acceleration. What will work best, four-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive? It's a race to the first corner.
Gets off the line quite well, and then I just leave him. It's amazing by how much. I'm a full, 2 car lengths ahead.
Oh, God, I hate losing.
Easy. Where were you? Where were you?
Look, he's so smug.
It's damp. You're bound to have an advantage. I think we should go and try it in a dry bit at the track, because I might give you a run for your money.
Test because you've lost. My Quattro system works well, thank you very much, in the damp.
Yes, it does work well in damp, but let's try it in the dry.
If you insist, if you think we really must, we'll go for a dry bit of track.
Over on a dry surface, I was quietly confident of a different result.
So there you go, the BMW on a dry track is slightly quicker to 60 than the TT.
Test 2, a race around the track. Could this be the test to help us work out which was best?
The first thing you notice is there really isn't an awful lot in it between the cars.
Now, to sort out the handling of the TT, which is something that needed sorting badly, Audi have really worked on the chassis. They've made it 50% stiffer by playing with their construction. But they've also made a steel rear subframe instead of aluminium to actually change the weight distribution to give a little more to the back.
Certainly from where I'm sat, the TT looks a bit more sure-footed in the faster corners.
Whoa, whoa. I've just fallen off.
Nice work. So, as much, as hard as I try, I can't make any ground on tip unless it looks like he goes in a little bit too hot and the ESP kicks in because it makes him understeer.
It's almost a shame this ESP is so super safe, because I reckon without it, we'd be winning.
We'll turn it off.
I've turned it, it says ASR, and it says ESP off.
If you press and hold the button, if you press and hold it, it then goes to another setting, which is off.
Is that you?
No, I'm serious, honestly, do it.
ESP and ASR on. ASR off, I'm holding my finger. And if you keep your finger on the button, it says ESP switched off. Right, 3 more laps then. Turn it around.
Yeah, go on then.
You're leading.
Can you believe it? Tiffany Dell doesn't know how to turn the ESP off.
It was the BMW's turn to lead, and with the ESP now off,
that's better.
Can the Audi keep up?
We've got a bit more of a race on, I think.
Now, one of the great aspects to this, the Z4 is the steering. It's just great fun to drive, gives you lots of confidence. It's very, very quick.
Oh, he's nearly at the barrier. He is so nearly crashed.
You know, there's not a great deal in it. The BMW is quicker over a lap. And I think that's because it's the chassis is a little bit more communicative, it's a little bit more accurate.
Sorry, Audi, I did my best. I honestly did my best.
Test 3, power sliding. Which car is easiest to balance on the limit? 3 highly trained and very orange marshals were the judges. On a difficult, cambered corner, this wasn't going to be easy.
Are you having a laugh? I think Tiff has nobbled these lads, because that was crap. Hey! He's looking at his bag of talent and realised it's not as full as he thought it was.
And now, my turn.
Oh, do you have minus at all? Any minus? Do you not have minus? No. 3? 3? It was understeering. Unless the back's out, it's 0. Oh, smoke, smoke. Oh, fine. You've bribed them, you've paid them money. You must have bribed those. What's that for?
That's for you. You go on, rake the grass. Look at the mess you've made there.
Go on.
See you later. I'm off the pub.
Thank you. Get off the grass! Hooligan!
3 hours of gardening later, we headed to the pub to discuss which was the best.
So, after all that, do we now know which is the better car?
No.
I don't think we do either.
It's very close, isn't it?
I was interested in the straight line acceleration to show that the Quattro does work in the damp and...
But, you know, in the dry, the Beamer's definitely quicker. But in a straight fight, once they're off the line, there's nothing in it. Nothing in it.
I think sitting in the BMW, I felt it was a nice driving environment, and the Audi sort of felt a bit spaced out. It's lost some of that little attractiveness it had, I think. It's not quite so funky on the interior. So at the end of the day, which is our winner?
Well, it's clear for me, the Audi, because it's got 4 seats, it's refined, it's more comfortable. I think it's a bit more stylish. It's a better place to be on a day-in basis.
I don't agree about the styling, but I do see what you mean about on the road. It's a more relaxed road car. But our test was all about on the track. And on the track, it was the BMW that won.
Do you know what? I love cars. I love everything they stand for, and actually, I quite like driving fast. So you'd think that I'd be the person that'd stand up for your right to drive whatever the hell you like, which I do. But I also think that you have to take some responsibility for choosing appropriately. You see, what started to get right up my nose is huge, inappropriate four-wheel drives bunging up urban areas. This is London, not the Lebanon.
So I was sceptical about testing the new Honda CR-V, yet another urban soft roader. Prices start at 18 grand, so it's a bit cheaper than rivals like the RAV4 and Freelander, which I guess is good. But what makes this interesting is the way they're actually selling it. The CR-V is being supplied with this sticker here that says not all 4x4s are the same, as well as this letter here that's supposed to help you defend yourself against 4x4 activists should they start haranguing you about driving an SUV around town. I went off to get harangued and find out what the problems are.
They drive as if they're in the street towards you.
They open up the doors on the roadside, just snarls all the roads up.
I think environmentally they're very bad, aren't they?
Now there's a city car.
They block visibility for other road users as well, similar to vans and buses, of course.
Bloody nuisance, that's what I think.
The general consensus is that 4x4s are too big, not green enough, and unsafe. Honda's letter gives you the stats to fight back.
This CR-V actually isn't as long as a Mondeo Estate. It's also got better pedestrian safety ratings than 90% of the cars on the road, thanks to these curved wings. And it also produces less CO2 than a Mini Cooper S, and we've seen hundreds of them knocking around today. So doesn't that make you think?
Freshly armed with those facts, we decided to take the car for the ultimate test. What would Richmond Council think of it? They're perceived to be anti-4x4 and have announced plans to triple the cost of parking permits for heavily polluting cars.
Well, it's pretty big, isn't it?
Well, it's actually funny you should say that. That's actually no longer than a Mondeo Estate.
Yes, it's quite high as well.
But does the height have anything to do with it?
No, the height doesn't. We're talking entirely about CO2 emissions, and this is a Band E car.
Well, this actually produces less CO2 than a Mini Cooper S, and there's thousands of them bombing around.
Well, I won't comment on Mini Cooper S's. I got into trouble when I mentioned car manufacturers. But these are fine, perhaps, in the country, and they're better than the alternatives, but they're not perfect.
You're saying this still isn't a guilt-free SUV?
This is not a guilt... There's no such thing as a guilt-free car, actually. In fact, what we want to do is to encourage as many people as possible not to use their cars. For God's sake, why don't people walk?
Because driving is fun. And the CR-V has been made even more car-like to drive. Supposedly.
Compared to the old CR-V, they've widened the track, lowered the centre of gravity and made the steering more direct. Now, they're all tricks they've used on the new Civic to make it feel a bit more fresh, funky and a bit sportier. But it hasn't worked on the CR-V. It just feels really dull to drive. It's really boring. I mean, it's supposed to be more car-like, but whichever car they've tried to emulate must have been a really, really dull one.
There's a 2-litre petrol and a 2.2-litre diesel to choose from. They have near identical performance, but the diesel is gutsier. However, the petrol is 1,200 quid less, which is like getting 10,000 miles worth of fuel for free.
It's got a 4-wheel drive system that's basically front-wheel drive until the front axle starts to spin loads, and then it'll engage the back wheels. But to be honest, unless it's snowing like crazy, it just won't spring into life. It doesn't feel like a 4-wheel drive, it just feels like a jacked-up hatch.
Which is probably the idea. But being a Honda, there are always some cool gadgets to alleviate the boredom.
Now, the CR-V has got a really cool traction control system. If you're towing a trailer and it starts to sway, it'll basically apply the brakes to stop it getting out of hand. That's good news if you've ever done any towing. There's also a really trick option called collision mitigation brake system. And what that means is there's basically a radar that lives in the front of the car, and when it senses an impending crash, it'll apply the brakes a lot harder and also tense the seatbelts inside. You'll still hit the guy in front, but it should be slightly less of an impact. Oh, and one other thing while we're here. It's a double boot floor. That's just a really simple but effective idea, because half that space is usually wasted in most cars. Thing is, the CR-V's a nice enough car, even if it is a little bit boring. But don't get confused into thinking this is a particularly green or environmental kind of car. Let's face it, it might be better than the rest, but it's not quite a guilt-free SUV.
With its Quattro 4-wheel drive system and a turbocharged 2-litre engine that produces 262 horsepower, the S3 gets to 60 in 5.5 seconds. It's grippy, composed and safe for beginners to thrash. First up, jacket off so your arms are nice and free, and soft shoes so you can feel the pedals. Most clubs will insist on helmets, which are usually supplied on the day, but as we're on our own, it's OK without.
it's best to sit a bit closer to the wheel than normal for better control. You should be able to put your wrist on top of the wheel without having to lean forwards. The only preparation your car will need is 5 or 6 more PSI in the tyres. Number 1 lesson is don't rush out there thinking you're about to be Schumacher. It really is a steady approach that reaps dividends. Now, we've got the driving position right, but the next thing is to get our hands locked in one grip on the wheel. Usually if you just rest your thumbs on top of the spokes, then you can steer with the arms. You never need to take your hands off that one grip. Now, there are 2 classic mistakes newcomers make when they get on the track for the first time. It partly involves not looking far enough ahead. We're approaching the infamous Paddock Hill bend at Brands Hatch. We turn in at the right point, we might find the apex, but then because we don't look far enough ahead, we get to the apex, and then we add more lock. And all of a sudden, at what was a perfectly safe speed, we've pitched the car sideways because we've added lock when we didn't need it. Now, the second classic error, when you try to go too fast too soon, again here at Paddock Hill bend, we change down to third, we turn, we think we know the line, we accelerate in hard, but all of a sudden, oh no, it's too fast! Oh! I had to lift off the throttle halfway through the corner because I'd powered in. I'd gone too much power too soon. And that's where you can really get yourself into trouble very easily. Start to build up speed by accelerating a little earlier out of the corners and start braking a little later and harder. Every lap, you should aim to add a little more speed while keeping smooth. In fact, to play with the boundaries, you're actually breaking all the rules that I've just taught you. So instead of being smooth, I can start doing some tricks. So you can start playing with the car, throw it a bit, see what it'll do. I'm being nasty with it now. And that's what track days are about. First, we've learnt the smooth line, you know, we've got the ultimate lap time going ultra smooth. And now we're just sort of having a bit of fun, really. You won't need to warm up tyres or brakes on a road car before you go out, but you do have to be careful you don't overheat them when you're on the track. Tyres can get really badly blistered if you press them too hard on a hot day. And brakes particularly, they're just not designed for constantly accelerating, braking. And after 10, sometimes even less laps in a high performance, if it's a heavy car, they will begin to fade and overheat. So you just need to go back to the pit stop, let them cool down. Perhaps the most important tip of all is to check out your insurance. Fully comprehensive only covers road use, and insurance companies are getting wise to the number of write-offs that uncannily seem to happen right outside the front gates of a track. Circuit cover can cost as little as £50 a day. Oh, and one final piece of advice. When you come into the pits to cool your brakes off, don't put the handbrake on, because that will put the pads up against the disc, heat soaks through, fluid boils. Put it in gear, switch off, let it cool.
This is the Mercedes-Benz S65 AMG. It's the £145,000 top-of-the-range S-Class. With 612 bhp and so much torque, they had to specially strengthen the transmission to stop it eating itself. Only a handful of people in the world want a rocket ship as a limo, and we found one to help us test it. The man in this car started as a T-boy for Lloyd's of London, but is now, according to the Sunday Times Rich List, the 444th wealthiest man in Britain. He's worth around 125 million smackaroonies. A fortune that's let him indulge his passion for expensive cars. Meet Theo Paphitis, star of TV programme Dragon's Den.
Theo, you're quite into your cars, aren't you?
I like cars.
What have you got?
I've got an SL, I've got a truck, an F-150, 5.5 litres turbocharged, goes great in a straight line, doesn't like corners. An Amazon,
Yeah.
which I think are the best cars in the world. A little Beetle convertible.
Have you?
Yeah, which just a mess around in. I think
Yeah.
cutie. So yeah, I do like cars. I know that my driver's got a BMW 760 individual, which is the driver's car, and I sit in the back of that one. It's got a fridge, and it's got a fridge.
It's got a fridge?
It's got a fridge. Any chauffeur's car has to have a fridge.
OK, now, I know that you're in the market for a new car. What are you looking for?
Well, obviously something to replace the BMW 760. That doesn't mean we won't go for another BMW 760
OK.
because they have been absolutely fantastic. So we're looking at what's out there at the moment. We're looking at Maybach and the Mercedes.
Well, I might have got the solution for you.
Aha.
Step this way. This is the Merc S-Class, but it is AMG'd up, so it's the big kahuna of a car. So hopefully it would be good to drive.
Kahuna, is that like cojones?
Yeah.
Hey, we're getting there. OK. It's a gorgeous looking vehicle.
Yep. And what about the wheels? Because they're pretty special.
They look fantastic.
Yeah.
They absolutely fantastic, and it's definitely a head turner, isn't it?
Yeah.
This boot is probably pretty well useless. Oh. OK, so have we got reclining seats?
That's your, this is your massage.
Massage?
Yes.
If you haven't got reclining rear seats, it's a disaster. Oh.
That's all that...
No, come back! Hopefully, if I do that, there's a space for a fridge.
There is space.
It is short. Yeah. You'd like a bit more space.
Why don't you pop in to the driver's seat?
Fantastic.
And see how that feels.
OK, well, that's certainly a comfortable position. We'll probably
Again,
need to
on
go
the door we can...
a tad forward, which would have given us a bit more space. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Oh, we've got Tiptronic.
Yep,
Paddle
speed.
Now, I'm just going to buy the car for the clock.
Yes, now this...
If you're going to buy the car for one reason, buy it for the clock.
I totally agree with you. A proper old-school clock.
That is a clock.
Brilliant. I'm glad you like that.
Fantastic. Well done, AMG. The car looks an absolute dream. It feels a dream to sit in. Let's go for it.
Yeah.
Right.
Me first. Out.
Okay, good. It puts me in here, warms me up, gets me salivating.
That's my prerogative.
And then she says, out. Right. Our girl's meant to be... We put the traction control back on, please. God, it feels dangerous. It feels very, very, very dangerous, especially when you haven't got
How quickly
the
we got
steering
up
wheel
to
in your
that.
hands.
Yeah, exactly. 0 to 60 miles an hour, Theo, in 4.4 seconds.
Unbelievable.
4.4.
I think I touched cloth then as well.
Did
by
you?
the way, because Mrs. P is going to have a bit of washing to do.
I would love to drive this car. See, me and being your chauffeur, we'd be the perfect combination for this car, I think.
Yes, but I think I might struggle a bit in two ways.
OK.
First,
Yeah.
in the back I'd be rattling around.
Yeah.
And secondly, I think Mrs. P would kill me. So either way, it's not a practical option.
So then, Theo, my lamb, your turn.
I would just like, at this stage, to apologise to Mercedes for the mess on the seat.
Are you sitting comfortably?
I am.
So we just go nice and steady, just to...
You're worried.
Just to build it in.
I can tell you are worried.
I did have a word with Mrs. P earlier on, and she said...
He's erratic.
So the thing with driving is that you want to do everything nice and smoothly.
Yes.
So nice and steady, nice balanced throttle around the corners, and look up, look ahead, plan your route. And what does that feel to you when you push that throttle?
It is awesome, isn't it? I guess it helps if you remember to brake. Preferably before the bend. There's no sense of speed.
That's the thing, aren't we?
There's no sense of speed. We're doing 100 going around a bend.
Yep, 100 miles an hour.
I'm getting far too cocky with this car. Far too cocky.
We're definitely on the limit of it breaking adhesion, definitely.
Oh, we're taking it to its...
I know a good place where we can take it to its limit at slower, more controllable speeds.
Right.
Are you up for that?
I am there.
Sophia, I think you're ready for some donuts.
Donuts.
OK? So I want
That's the
you
theory.
to keep going at this pace and then turn the wheel as far as it will go to the left.
Right.
That's it. And now beat the throttle. Good boy, good boy. That's it. Fantastic. Keep it going. Brilliant. Brilliant, 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 brilliant.
Is that a donut?
Yep, you're doing
There's a lot of
donut.
smoke. There's a lot of smoke on this.
Theo, that's mega. It was brilliant. Look at that smoke.
It's an incredible car. It's a totally incredible car. The feat of engineering, it's amazing. You get at 130, 140 miles an hour, and you actually don't know you're doing any speed. You can corner around bends 80, 90, 100 miles an hour. It seems fine. So it's wonderful as far as that's concerned, but it's not a sports car because it hasn't got that beauty of a sports car, the noise, the handling of a sports car, the feel of a sports car. And as a limo, well, it's not. It's far too uncomfortable because of the suspension. So would I buy this car? I'd buy this car if I was going to buy an S-Class. If I was going to buy an S-Class, I'd buy this car because I could afford to. Because I'd want the best. And there's no question that is the best.
The fifth gear best small car of 2006 is a firm favourite of ours that was completely reinvented a couple of months ago. It is, of course, the new Mini.
It may not look like it, but everything about the car is new. It's slightly bigger, more pedestrian-friendly in an accident, and finished to a higher standard inside. There are new engines too. The Cooper S loses its supercharged engine, but gains a 1.6-litre turbocharged unit made in association with Peugeot and Citroën. The engine isn't particularly any more powerful, and with a top speed of 140 miles an hour, it isn't really any quicker. But now it's more economical, averaging nearly 41 miles per gallon. You still get the go-kart handling in tight corners and rock-solid composed feeling in the faster bends, but now the ride is vastly better.
The Cooper S costs 16 grand. Soon there'll be a normal Cooper at 13, and the Mini One comes in at just 11.5. And no matter which model you choose, the best bit about the Mini is its image. They may shift over 200,000 units a year, but it always feels like a premium choice. It's as happy being Madonna's shopping car as it is tearing round entertaining country roads.
Prices range from 17 to 22 grand. Our favourite engine is the turbocharged 2.5-litre unit out of the Focus ST. With 220 horsepower, it'll keep up surprisingly well with hot hatches, and even on a track, it doesn't feel out of place. Vicky tested its ability to carry 7 people at speed by hiring an intrepid band of pensioners and scaring them silly. Although her land speed record attempt was somewhat scuppered when nature took its course. Nevertheless, the S-Max has got a lot going for it other than the way it quickens the pulse. Or pacemaker, as the case may be. Cool styling, 5 NCAP stars, and recently voted European Car of the Year.
It's the category with the most exciting cars. The ones we love to see pushed to their limit. The ones we'd all love to own. Superbike rider Shaky Byrne may have a 150-mile-an-hour day job, but even he was blown away by the Lamborghini Murcielago LP640.
You'd buy one just for that, wouldn't you? Just for that noise.
The Litchfield Subaru provides similar thrills for about a quarter of the price. It's an independent special that's better than anything the manufacturer makes.
Christ, it is quick.
But over the past 12 months, 3 very special cars have stood head and shoulders above all the others. It's just that we can't decide what's best.
OK, my esteemed colleagues, I have made the decision. The best fast car of 2006 comes from the definitive maker of fast cars, Ferrari. It's the 599 GTB Fiorano.
Oh, no. Tom, that's not right, mate.
No, you haven't made the decision. The decision has to be debated.
Hang on. Listen. 3.7 to 62. 3.7 seconds to 62 miles an hour, 207 miles an hour top speed. It's got a super fast paddle-operated gear shift. It's got predictive stability control. It's got magnetic fluid in the dampers. This is a techno showcase, all wrapped up with the best name in the business, Ferrari.
But, Tom, it's £170,000, man.
No, listen.
And it's got
the
flappy
same
paddles.
Let me explain, right? It's got the same V12 out the Enzo. Now, what's an Enzo going for these days?
Tons.
About £500,000. 599's actually cheap.
Look, you're yet another person that's getting blinded by all this technology that's in this 599. And if you take it on a track for all this promise of excitement, I know, I don't like to remind people, if you take it on a track, the brake pedal's soft and long, and it understeers around corners.
Yeah, but I detect a wee bit of sourness there, 50 miles an hour in Bolivia, Tiff.
No, I bear no grudges.
Well, actually, I did the leg after you and drove that 599 through Peru and across the Andes, and your name is still mud, by the way, with the engineers. But I also drove it across Europe, through the Dolomites, down the Autobahns. I did the whole lot, and I'm telling you, the 599, my friends, is the law.
Oh, don't get me wrong, I adore Ferraris, especially the F430 is my choice. But I just think that our Fast Car of the Year award should go to something that's a bit of a surprise. And what surprised me this year was the Chevrolet Corvette Z06. Now, look, I know we all think everything American is junk, but this one isn't. This one actually shows the Europeans how to make a car handle. It's even full of modern materials.
I have heard this rumour that the paint on the wings is actually heavier than the wings themselves because they're made of super thin carbon fibre.
Yeah.
So.
And it's got a super high-tech 7-litre V8 that produces 512 horsepower. It gets to 60 in 5.9 seconds. It'll do almost 200 miles an hour. And it does great power slides.
Actually,
yes.
I've got to say, you see where are you, that colourful track there?
Circuit Paul Ricard.
Watch this. The amount of smoke you are producing on there is truly awe-inspiring. Just check, look, can't see the car.
It's the driver's car.
Now, granted, it is great for that, but you're both wrong. You're both very wrong. The best fast car has to be a car that can do everything. It's a great GT car, it's great in the track, it's brilliant. It's the Porsche 911 Turbo.
Oh, here we go.
That's only because you've gone out and bought one, invested in one.
No, but that's not why I'm saying it's the best car. That's the fact why I bought one, because it is the best at everything. It's refined, it's comfortable, it's got the stereo's amazing inside, it's as quick as hell, and in the wet, it's in a different world.
A lengthy debate ensued, but in the end, for confounding the stereotypes and offering a driving experience as good as any supercar, the winner of the Best Fast Car 2006 is the Chevrolet Corvette Z06. At just £60,000, it's far cheaper than the other two, costing less than a normal 911. Yet it feels every inch a Le Mans racer.
Right, it's time now for the biggie. Just what is our car of the year
What is it?
2006?
What is it?
Well, it could be...
The Citroën C6, the thinking man's alternative to a BMW 5 Series. It even reads out your text messages.
Get back to work, you lazy bastard.
In tribute to President de Gaulle, we shot at one, and it kept going. Another car that impressed us was the hydrogen-powered Honda FCX. With nothing but water coming out of the exhaust, it's undoubtedly the future of transport. We were also rather taken by the amazing engines in the BMW 335. Both petrol and diesel versions are groundbreaking.
But none of those are the winner. Because the fifth gear car of the year 2006 is... Envelope, please.
We'll open it.
Yes, and read it. The winner is...
the Audi TT.
It's an icon that's been made lighter, faster, better. With sharper styling, the car looks more aggressive. They've got rid of the stodge and made it what it always should have been, a sports car.
You turn this in and it reacts virtually instantly, not like the old car, which sort of took its time, had a cup of tea, thought about it, then did it.
It's never given BMW such a run for its money on the track, and on the road, it's more refined and more practical, with a proper boot and 4 seats. In simple terms, it ticks the 2 major boxes. It looks good and it drives well. But what's best is that it's an everyday car that makes you feel special.